So today we are diving into a very important topic and a very important technique which has the potential to turn your life around 180 degrees for the better. So if you find yourself moving 2 steps forward and 1 step back and you're totally flustered and you do not know that why you find yourself in the same position, then you're in the right place. Let me explain to you what actually is happening and why you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and you find yourself stuck in the exact same position. So without any further ado, let's dive into it. Today, we are talking about the power of focus. You may ask me, what is so special about focus? We all know what focus is and we all understand how to use it to our advantage. Although we know what focus is, we do not know how to use it to our own advantage. What we end up doing is that we focus on the resistance. We focus on the things that we do not like. And we focus on things that make us unhappy instead of focusing on the things that we desire. This may seem like a very, very easy situation for you to fix, but we don't end up fixing it. And that is the reason that we remain stuck where we are. For example, if you are not happy because you think that you are overweight, so what do? You keep telling yourself every day when you look in the mirror that, I'm not happy with myself. I'm not happy with the way I look. And you keep telling yourself that. And in the process, because you're not happy, you may go and you may find some junk food and you may start stuffing yourself up with that. But there may be some days where you feel that, okay, it's okay, I'm overweight, but maybe I'll eat a little bit healthier today. So you do take 2 steps forward towards losing some weight. However, over the long run, you're back to square one. And the reason for that is because you're always unhappy with your situation. You were never neutral about it. You never told yourself that, yeah, I'm overweight, but I'm neither happy nor unhappy. I just am overweight. That is observing the situation neutrally, with neutrality. And because you fail to do that, and many of us fail to do that in many different situations, not just this particular situation about being overweight. It could be the fact that you're not happy with your job, or it could be the fact that you're not happy being a full-time housewife, which was my case. We end up focusing on the resistance. We are not able to observe the situation neutrally. Now, I have news for you. Both positive and negative attention, both of them have the power to attract reality. And what do I mean by that? I mean to tell you that whatever we like and whatever we dislike, we get more of that. So we need to understand that observing the situation neutrally actually helps us disconnect from our existing timeline or our existing situation. Let me repeat the example. If you're not happy with the way you look when you see yourself in the mirror and you keep telling yourself that you are not happy with how you look, you are essentially telling yourself, and the message you're sending to the universe is that you're unhappy, and that creates resistance. When there is resistance, that pulls you further and further away from your goal. Now, your goal may be that you want to fit into a size 8 dress. However, you keep telling yourself that you can never fit into that size 8 dress because you are 10 kilos or 5 kilos overweight. Never once do you ask yourself, what are the steps I can take to fit into that size 8 dress? Have you ever asked yourself that question? What are the steps that you need to take to be happy? And it could be different for all of you, right? It could be different for each one of you. However, where do you focus? Where do you spend most of your time focusing? On the resistance. You're not happy. You're not happy with your 9 to 5. You're not happy with the way you look. You're not happy being a stay-at-home housewife, right? We spend so much of our time focusing on the things that we are not happy about, and that ends up creating more and more resistance. And when there is more resistance, it takes us further and further away from our goal. So, what is it that we can do to fix the situation? We need to shift our focus from what we do not like to what we desire. But the first step in the process is observing your situation neutrally. So if I tell myself that, yeah, I'm 5 to 10 kilos overweight, however, I'm neither happy with that nor unhappy with that. I just am. I just am. I'm neither happy nor unhappy. I just am. So once you are neutral about your situation, whatever that may be, you observe it neutrally, and that is the point you can actually do something about it. So the example of being overweight, once you observe yourself neutrally, you're neither happy nor unhappy being overweight, then the chances of you remaining that particular weight are much higher than gaining additional weight. And the chances and the potential for you to even lose some weight is much higher than if you were telling yourself that you're not happy and observing the situation negatively. Because whatever you observe positively and negatively, it attracts reality. So whatever situation you are in, you'll remain stuck in that. On the contrary, if you're very happy with your weight and you look great, then the chances of you losing more weight are much higher, right? Because you're already losing weight and you're so motivated and you're on this trajectory that you're going to lose even more weight. It has to do with your attention. Where is your focal point? Is it on the negative or the positive? Because both negative and positive have the power to attract reality only when you observe your situation neutrally. You're neither happy nor unhappy with it. That is the point. You dissolve that reality. You put a halt on the situation right then and there. And then you take a step back and you think, okay, what is it that will make me happy? In this particular example, if you want to lose 5 to 10 kilos, you may start changing your diet. You may start, getting healthier food for yourself. You may learn to cook even, because you understand that only when you eat home cooked food, you have a higher chance of losing weight and fitting into that size 8 dress. So you are on a different path or trajectory or lifeline. You've disconnected from your previous lifeline and you are on a different lifeline altogether. You see where I'm getting at? Neutral observation is the first step that you need to dissolve your current reality. We are all on different realities and different trajectories and different lifelines, as you may, in this particular life at any particular point in time. We do not have the power to change our lifelines. However, we do have the power to disconnect from our existing timeline with the power of our thoughts. Now, if we use our thoughts to our advantage, and if we use our thoughts to focus our attention, then we are actually able to disconnect from our existing timeline. Now, I'll give you another example to make it crystal clear. For example, I remain stuck being a very unhappy housewife for about a decade. I would do things here or there. I would take on projects. However, over the long run, I found myself stuck in the same position, which was the kitchen, cooking day in and day out. I was not able to make any progress. And the reason for that is I kept telling myself how unhappy I am being a full-time housewife. And the more I told myself that, the more I found myself stuck in that situation. There was some forward movement. I would get some opportunities, some projects which I would undertake. However, because I lacked faith and because I was so unhappy, I kept creating more and more resistance. When you create more and more resistance, and when you are not able to shift your focus from your resistance towards your desire, and your desire is your what? So once I figured out, okay, I am not happy being a full-time housewife. So once I figured out, so what you need to do is observe your situation neutrally. Okay, I observe and accept that I am a full-time housewife. However, I'm neither happy nor unhappy. I just am. I just am a full-time housewife. That is the fact of the matter. So once I accept that, I disengage from that particular lifeline. And now I have the opportunity to figure out, I was so unhappy in this position. Now, what is it that I'd like to do? In my particular case, I would like to become a very successful entrepreneur. So I can actually take some steps towards that, right? So when I become even clearer about my what, I'd like to be an entrepreneur. However, I do value my time. So the best thing I can do is become a YouTuber, and I can create value for people. I can impart my knowledge. And that is setting up my own entrepreneurial venture, my own YouTube channel. That is something that I will own. So once I gain crystal clarity on my what and why do I want to do that? Because I want to feel alive once again, and I want to feel successful, and I want to regain my confidence and my self-worth. So I have figured out my what and my why simply by observing my situation neutrally. And that allowed me to disconnect from my existing timeline where I was really unhappy being a full-time housewife. And it allowed me to shift to another timeline. And this is the timeline which has the potential for me to become the YouTuber, because this is what I have decided. Now, how actually I become a YouTuber, that is going to happen with something called the reticular activating system, which is a part of my brain. It is located at the bottom of the brain stem. And what that does is it filters all the thoughts which come into your subconscious mind. So all the thoughts are absorbed by the subconscious mind. They are filtered by the reticular activating system, and they're pushed into our conscious mind. Now that is what I have decided, that I want to become a YouTuber. And once I decide that, the reticular activating system is going to take that piece of information from my subconscious mind. It's going to push it into my conscious mind. Now, because it is a part of my conscious mind, in my waking hours, I will start figuring out how I can become a YouTuber. I may even take a course or two. I will begin by taking free YouTube videos on how I can start my own YouTube channel. Then I may even take a course or two about how to become a YouTuber or how to launch my successful YouTube channel, which means I'm channelizing my energy from negativity into a positive flow. I have left my identity of being an unhappy housewife behind, and now I'm focusing on what is it that I'd like to become. And I have decided that I want to be a YouTuber. So my energy and my focal point have shifted from that of an unhappy full-time housewife to how to become a YouTuber. Now all my energy is going to be streamlined into this particular thought process. And I may come across people, who can say, we saw a couple of reels of yours and, this is how we can help you. And, things start happening, baby steps, one thing after the other. But only because I was able to observe my prior situation of unhappiness neutrally. I already spent a decade being unhappy with my situation of being an unhappy housewife. However, the moment that I decided that I'm not going to be unhappy anymore, I was able to figure out that I need to shift my focal point from resistance to desire. And for that, I also had to figure out what is my desire. So you really need to take a step back and you need to figure out, if this situation is making me so unhappy, then what situation will make me happy? And once we shift our focus from unhappiness to what makes us happy, you're eliminating the resistance. And once you have eliminated the resistance, you're already on a different timeline. You're on a timeline which has the potential to take you to your goals and your dreams and your desires, because you were able to shift your focal point. You were able to observe your reality neutrally. Neutral observation is the only reality that allows you to dissolve your current reality. Both positive and negative attention have the potential to attract reality. You get more of what you like and you get more of what you dislike. Neutral observation, observing your situation neutrally, neither being happy about it nor being unhappy about it, just accepting it as it is. That means, in other words, you're doubling down on your desire. Whatever is, let it be. You're unhappy being overweight, let it be. You're unhappy being a full-time stay-at-home mom, let it be. Whatever is, let it be. That is what I mean when I say observing it neutrally. And then the second step is doubling down on your desire. Figure out what makes you happy. If you're so unhappy in X situation, what is the situation that is going to make you happy? And once you double down on that situation, you've already disconnected from your previous timeline and now you are on a different timeline. You are on a timeline which has the potential to lead to your goals and your desires. And that only happens once you have learned to disconnect from your original timeline. Whatever is, let it be. Observe the situation neutrally. The second step is to figure out what is it that you truly desire. And once you figure that out, you need to double down on it. That is the third step. You double down on your desire. You start taking baby steps, whatever it may be. If you want to lose weight, you may get a trainer who can come early morning and you can get a fitness instructor who can, help you lose the weight. You can change your diet. You can eat home cooked food. If you're unhappy being a full-time housewife, you need to figure out what makes you happy. If you want to set up your own venture, or if you want to get another job, or you want to do some voluntary work, that is for you to figure out. What is it that you desire and why do you desire it? How you get to that is not that important because you will get to it. Once you've decided this is what you want to do, the next step is that you are going to be on a different timeline because you have streamlined your attention and you are focusing on your desire. You're not focusing on the lack thereof of it. Once you have shifted your focus and you start focusing on your desire, then that is what leads you towards your goals. You are on the right path at that point. You're not going to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back because that was the previous lifeline. The reason for that was that you were not able to use your thoughts and streamline them. You were focusing on the lack and that kept you stuck in the same timeline. However, once you observe the situation neutrally, that is when you have shifted timelines. Now, we are all on some kind of a timeline. However, we do not know if that timeline will lead to our goals and our dreams and our desires. And what we need to do is we need to learn to streamline our thoughts. Once we have controlled our thoughts, what we're essentially doing is we are controlling our internal world. I cannot stress the importance of that. If you want to shift timelines, then you need to be able to streamline and control your thoughts which serve you. And that way you are able to control your inner world. That is what is reflected in your 3D reality. We are not able to change our 3D reality. We cannot say that because, I'm not happy with my current life, I can change it. There is no way to change it. The only thing you can change is the image which you are presenting to the mirror of reality. And that image is your internal world that is being presented to the mirror of reality. Changing the reality itself means that, when you look at the mirror, you expect that the mirror will smile at you first before you even smile. And we know that's not possible. In the same way, we're not able to manipulate the 3D reality which we experience in our daily lives. What we can do is we can change the image which is presented to the mirror of reality. And that is the image which is in turn reflected in our 3D reality. And I will also connect the video up here about self-image. So self-image is the image that we have about ourselves, and that is what is reflected in turn in our 3D reality. And it is very important that we are able to streamline our thoughts and we are able to craft this self-image in a way that what is reflected is what we want to observe. If you want to experience abundance, then you need to be abundant yourself. You cannot experience abundance if you're coming from a place of lack, or if there's inner turmoil. That's not how it works. If you want to see your 3D shift, you need to alter the image that you're presenting to it. It is as simple as that. The image shall be presented, which will be the image that you have altered. However, with a delay, there's always a delay for various reasons. And one of the reasons that I give is that if everything manifested, right, if all the good thoughts and all the bad thoughts manifested immediately, then we'd see a lot of good things in our reality and a lot of bad things. And that's not what we want. If you get to experience what you feed your mind, for example, that I want to be a YouTuber, right? So that is what's going to be filtered by the reticular activated system. It's going to be pushed into my conscious mind, which shall then be reflected in my 3D reality. So we need to understand that focus and the power of focus is absolutely essential. What are you focusing on? If you keep focusing on the lack, and if you keep focusing on the negative, that is going to be reflected. You will keep getting more of that. And once you understand that the reason that you experience 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and you experience that you're in the same place over a long time, it could be like 5 to 10 years, you find yourself stuck in the same place. Although you are doing some things, right? You feel like you're taking a few steps forward. You are doing things here or there. However, your general lack of unhappiness with yourself, that is the reason that you're not moving forward. Because the message that you're giving to the universe is that I'm not happy. So you get more of that only. If you're not happy, you get more of being unhappy. If you're happy, you get more of happy. So what you need to do is observe the situation neutrally. You need to be neutral about it. I'm neither happy nor unhappy. I just am. I'm neither great nor not great. I just am. I am Asma. I'm neither great nor not great. I just am. I'm neutral about it. Being in a neutral position allows me to figure out where I want to be in the next 5 to 10 years. Once I observe myself neutrally, I'm able to figure out my trajectory and my path, and then I'm able to use the power of my thoughts. I'm able to streamline them, and I use them to move forward in a different timeline. That's because I'm not focusing on the negative any longer. I have shifted my focus to what is it that I desire and why do I desire that? It's a very subtle shift. However, it is extremely essential for your success, and it is extremely essential for you to understand this concept of shifting your focal point. Whatever is, let it be. Double down on your desire. Both positive and negative attention have the power to attract reality. So what you need to do is observe your situation neutrally. That is the only way that you're going to be able to dissolve your current reality. This is a very, very important concept. Once you are able to understand and grasp this, you are actually going to be able to shift your timelines, and you're going to be able to streamline your energy and your attention towards your goals and your desires just by shifting your focal point from resistance to desire. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. But before I click off, let's do a quick recap. In this particular video, I am talking about the power of focusing on your desire. I have taught you that it is very important that you are able to shift your focus from resistance, from what you do not like, to your desire, to what you like. And once you're able to do that, only then you're able to change your situation. However, if you keep telling yourself that you're not happy and your focal point remains resistance, then that is only going to take you away from your goals and your desires. If you want to dissolve your current situation, you need to be able to observe it neutrally. Neutral attention is the only attention which has the power to dissolve your reality. And once you're able to dissolve your reality, Then you have the opportunity to figure out the next thing. What is it that you desire? So the first step in the process is that you need to be able to observe your situation neutrally. The second step in the process is that you need to shift your focus to your desire, from resistance to your desire. And the third point in the process is you need to double down on the desire. And what I mean by that is you need to take baby steps towards your goal and your desire. If you want to become a YouTuber, for example, then you need to focus on that. You need to figure out what are the steps you need to take to become a YouTuber. If you want to lose 10 kilos, you need to figure out what are the steps you need to take to lose 10 kilos. It's a very different energy. You have left the negativity behind because you were able to observe your situation neutrally. And once you observe it neutrally, the second step is you need to shift your focus to your desire, to the positive. What is it that you desire? And then you have to double down on that. You have to put all your energy and effort towards figuring that desire out. And that is when you are going to be on a different timeline, which has the potential to lead you towards your goals and your dreams, right? That can only happen if you have eliminated the resistance. You have observed the situation neutrally. You were able to shift your focus to your desire, and then you were able to double down on your desire. It is as simple as that. Whatever is, let it be. Observe it neutrally. Then you have disengaged from your existing timeline and you have shifted to a new timeline which has the potential to lead to your goals and your desires. So thank you so much for watching. I would really appreciate if you could please give me a like and subscribe to my channel. And this channel is all about the law of attraction, about spirituality, and I also empower you with the tools which you need to be able to create the life which you have dreamed of. So thank you so much for watching.